Now, this is part two of the breaking down of politics, and I tried to look at in a lens of motivators. What drives parties? What drives their politics? What is their promised land? So you see where they want to go. That'll tell you a lot about what God they serve. And now, as far as I talked in the short part one, the god of Baal that was famous in the Bible for killing babies. Of course, we know that the Democrats, of course, are famous for killing babies. I came up with a paradigm that I see on TV. Many of my paradigms I give, I talked about slavery. We today look back on slavery and say, "Oh, those evil men! How could they treat blacks so evilly? To have a slave? How we judge our forefathers as being evil. That they may have had slaves that be white people or whatever. How dare they? You can even be black and be pointing a finger at whites. You could, this happens in life. Or a black person can go up to a white person and say, "Your grandparents owned my grandparents." But the truth of the matter is, his lineage, that black guy speaking, his great grandparents, whatever, they were slave owners in Africa selling blacks to come over here. And that white man he was talking to could have had a great grandpa or in his family line that died for the freedom of black. Often that's what happens in mankind. We blame someone else and point a finger, and we're the ones that's guilty of what we're proclaiming the other to be guilty of. Now, as far as this, God is sovereign, the Christian God, the Most High God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not of Ishmael, but of Jacob. And sovereign, He's in everything. In everything. He's in the deepest, darkest, satanic cellar with sex slaves in it. He is in the highest mountain of heaven and everything. Sovereign, omnipresent. Now, as far as God having His hands on everything, that He's not ignorant of what's going on in all cases, that He can use all things for the good for those that love Him are called according to His purpose. And He has set up in America that we have such freedoms that you're allowed to hate God. You're allowed to go in public and say the Christian God, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. We enjoy the freedom that our forefathers gave us, and it was designed that way. So we, maybe when we're young and ignorant, we can go out and we get dirt on us, right? We go on different roads and we get different sins and get dirt, and then just some lucky people or some selected people, some blessed people, God reveals Himself to them in a certain way that they have a change of heart. All that dirt that they've had on their past, it's ammunition, or it's fuel to want to get better, to want, not want to hurt or offend love personified, which is Christ Jesus. If we were just perfect, born perfect, no evil among us, then what would be the test of love? That we would strive to want to seek God, to get better, to get with God, to get right with God. God's in the Democrat Party, God's in the Republican Party, God's in the Yeshua Party. He's sovereign. But ultimately, what are these parties' main goal that drives them? Now, in politics, it's self-promotion, right? In politics, may want to get a commercial. I'm for business. I'm for jobs, jobs, jobs. I am justice. Vote for me, and I will clean up the streets. It's all about, a lot of it is selling yourself and what your vision of what America should be. A lot of politics, people fall into pride. If they're good, pride drives them, self-love, that it's me, me, me. So, road in politics you go on, and it's a road of, all of mankind. All of man has some sort of cross that they were given in life to carry, as to help Jesus, to sin that they had to carry. A lot of tests come from that cross, a lot of tests. Will you still kill and destroy to protect your self-interest in that cross, or crosses? In politics, when you get compromised, someone has the dirt on you, you get blackmailed. Well, therefore, we have somebody that will be a slave to our evil politics. We have this dirt on you, and you better do our politics, or it's the end of your career. All they have to do is get dirt on you. You're a slave to Satan for the rest of your life in politics. There's so many different roads that can railroad Christian God in politics to a leader that, sexual in politics is often the tool used to get God out of politics. If you had a David of today, a David loves greatly, but he also loves lust, loves sex, a giant heart. Well, it's bound to love sometimes things that are evil. It's the nature of man. So, will you in politics, if you're a Christian, you're a young Christian, I want to get into politics, I want to do God issues. You have that cross you got to carry. So, may be a reckoning, a point where Satan comes to you a number of times, maybe. You got choices. Do you lie about your cross that you carry? Do you sell out for that cross? Or you put Jesus, Christian God, in the back seat at some period in your politics? You just become part of the problem. When politics, it's all about selflessness. It's when it was first made public service. Again, congressional halls were filled with people that didn't get paid. They had honor and respect because they had power over Americans in America in some form, that we would elect them, they would make the choices. It was a representative democracy, that it wasn't a pure democracy that we would vote on every issue. It would be a pure democracy, but it's a representative democracy that we would vote for leaders, and those leaders would decide the issues of the day. But to stay the course, to when Satan approaches a man of God, a woman of God in politics with that inevitable test, the testing from heaven. Will they lie? Will they tell the truth? Will they be selfless or selfish? I am absolutely tired of the Christian God getting backseat in politics.